So it's really nice to be back with my sister again on YouTube. I'm at Caroline's house. I've been here a few days. We have been teaching drawing and
design for embroidery.
So while we were together, we've got all our sketchbooks with us. So we thought it'd be quite fun to have a look at a sketchbook each and just have a little flick through and see what our thoughts and our ideas and stuff are. So we've both picked a sketchbook.
Mine's bigger than yours.
Size is not everything. True. And we're going to have a little tour through our sketchbooks. Caroline does tambour work and machine embroidery and hand embroidery as well, but she's got some tambour videos on our YouTube channel, so if you haven't seen those, go and check those out because they're really cool. So shall we have a look through these?
Let's do that.
Let's go. Okay, so we've got Caroline's sketchbook here. It's very large.
It is.
Sketchbook. The size for any particular reason?
I wanted a large size initially for doing life drawing in. So you'll see that the first series of pages are life drawing, warming up exercises.
Okay.
Quick sketches. That was 10 minutes.
So what medium is
this? Is pencil, quite a soft pencil, and very rapid drawings and over drawings. So you can see two poses there on the same page. I didn't want a sheaf of papers. I wanted to control it, but I wanted a reasonable size. That's why this size sketchbook. So here there's some, I think these might be crayon or there's wax in there.
Okay.
And then watercolour over the top, so
this
resist.
Watercolour here.
Yeah, and then a resist effect here. More of that on this.
I love this one.
So it also gives an interesting format. This format of sketchbook opened out flat using the whole spread gives you this long thin format, which is interesting to me, and using the whole space and seeing how to compose an image, what you can fit in that is interesting. So again, this is oil pastel I think in here and watercolour over the top, so you get this interesting texture where the two media are not combining and the watercolour pools in between, which I really enjoyed creating. And I was using a system of warm and cool tone. So I've got some red and blue for shade, and I've got yellows and pale blue in some areas. So I was experimenting with a very limited colour palette to create light and shade. Ink drawings with a bit of watercolour there.
Okay. So did you dip the brush in the ink?
Yes, so it looks like, yes, there's no sign of pen or anything, so it looks like that was a very rapid sketch using brush and sometimes fingers.
Right.
And the life drawing ceased. I stopped doing that, and this is my first. What am I going to do with a sketchbook this size now?
It's got a little bit of
and something. Yeah, I don't know what was there that got ripped out.
I always do
yes,
that.
yeah, and I didn't draw on this page because that wasn't
right?
fixed basically. But it has sort of printed a reverse image, which is in itself
quite interesting.
Interesting. Oh look, I went back to the life drawing class.
So you had a moment where you went, I don't know what to do. Whatever you did do, you ripped it out.
I did.
And then you went back to the safety.
And then I went back to... I have this intention, I'm going to keep a sketchbook for this or for that. And these boundaries usually break down pretty quickly. And so back to the life drawing, using pastel here and charcoal.
This is a gorgeous bit of tonal study here. It's
thank
beautiful.
you. Yeah.
Dark again.
Rather interested in her elbow. I think that came out well.
Yeah, it did.
So again, just producing a lots of sketches. There's more. I didn't bother to fix them. They've all smudged.
Okay.
But that's fine.
Yeah.
A bit more, attempting a bit more smudging here.
Yeah.
With the medium. Those will be earth colours. That looks like umber and sienna.
This one here.
Yeah, I think so. What we have here, watercolour, I think, and charcoal. There.
And a bit of, what's the...
Oh,
Conti?
yes. Is that a little bit of chalk, perhaps?
What's this say?
It says, more important to have a head than a face.
Okay.
And that is about getting the overall structure of something and not getting bogged down in the detail.
Okay.
So you can have a head without a face, but a headless face is just weird.
Yeah. A bit more come out.
A bit more ripping.
You ripped it out if you don't like it, do you think? Or
I might have ripped it out.
You wanted it for something.
I think it's actually in a frame in the other room, that drawing. Right, I think I took it out for an exhibition. Cool. So that sometimes happens, that I produce something good enough. This was a 2-minute tonal study, so you can see their head,
is that the other way
side
around?
of the neck. Yes, we're looking at it sideways on, so it was portrait fashion. Yeah. There's an arm, there's a breast. So it was trying to use no lines, but describing a form just with tone.
Just tonal study.
Yes, a tonal study alone there. More detailed. Same pose, different media. Watercolour again on this side. And we leave the life drawing behind at this point.
Oh, I love him.
And these are drawings from photographs. So there's watercolour here. This is a sort of recurring theme of mine that keeps coming back, and I'm working on something at the minute which draws on all these that I've made over years and years, drawings of gargoyles and strange beasts. So I'm rather liking this griffin type head with the snake in the beak there.
Yeah.
These are water spouts, and I've got all kinds of references written on here. So I could find them again and where these carvings are.
Right.
So I can look at them. Yes, some details about bestiaries here.
I love him. He's fabulous.
He's very strange. Yeah, he's good, isn't he? Now, so on to something completely different. I wrote something inspiring on the left. Something that resonated with what I was thinking at the time and what it can feel like if you don't see your artistic interest reflected in the art world at large. Mm-hmm. I've written there can be an intense egoism in following everybody else. People are in a hurry to magnify themselves by imitating what is popular. Too lazy to think of anything better. Hurry ruins saints as well as artins. So it's about this was about taking time and trying to help myself feel more comfortable with these quite detailed things that I sometimes do, which can often be dismissed as pretty intricate, not very contemporary. Those sorts of things are often said about work like this. But this is where my heart lies in a way. So these are my interpretations of Paisley, but bringing an English aesthetic to what the boater, the symbol that originates in a very different culture, but using some very English images. Yeah. And this was inspired by a walk in a meadow in May. And there are daisies and seed heads and very humble little things here. And I've written West Dean Meadow.
Oh, right, okay.
And it was a walk that inspired this. And I produced a piece of work from this.
Okay.
So...
do we have the piece of work?
I do. I made a lino cut. There's the cut. I don't have a print. I think I've given them all away.
Get that on the cover.
But there's my cut of the design. Yes, it's that design cut with some detail, and there's the process of making the cut is so meditative. There's something about the making process that I really get a lot from doing.
Yes.
So a step further from doing this, I had some ideas about this as a fabric print, but I wondered if it was too elaborate. So something maybe to explore there. Right. And there are some smaller attempts at different types of paisleys on here that maybe would work better as repeat prints. So I've never cut that one, but it could be interesting. I'm looking at it again and thinking I like this way I made the shape with these little grass heads.
It's beautiful.
So maybe I'll cut that one.
What's this medium
that's ink. That's actually, I think it's Winsor & Newton drawing ink.
Right.
So it is pretty sure this one is waterproof, and I used a dip pen to draw these, so you can see how the colour intensity varies.
It's like red here to yellow, but that's only one colour, is it?
No, I think I mixed them.
Oh, you did
I've got 2 different shades, and I think one interesting thing happens in the pen is the colours of ink mix. You dip the pen into one pot, write a bit, dip in the other,
and it mixes it.
Then you'll get a flood of the latest colour you've dipped, but then they slightly mix, so they're quite close tones anyway.
It's
quite
really
close
beautiful.
shades. Never remember the right words. A little bit more on that idea over here, and drawing from other people's work. So I can't remember now where this little bird with the grapes was from. These are my own, developed from my own sketches of hedgerow roses while on holiday, and more wild daisies there, and flowers that we normally consider to be weeds. On the right are some of my drawings of other people's work, things I saw that I liked, and drawing them really helps me to look properly and see what they made and understand their style. So styles of work that are very different to mine, but I've written who the artist is so I can look up again. But I like the narrative going on in this artwork here, both of these really, so you can see some of my own concerns of flowers and natural things. That's what I was drawn to in other people's work.
I love this little part here, this bit of negative space in the front one, and then swapped around in the back one. So you're drawing the white bit here, and then you're drawing the spaces, and then you're filling them in. That's like a chiaroscuro.
You learn a lot from drawing somebody else's work, and I also think it's a great compliment to them that you've invested that much time looking properly at what they made. So now moving on, what have we here? From little acorns to mighty oaks. And I think I'd found some seeds, and they are so bizarre when they start to sprout. Here's the acorn and the root coming out and the leaf out the top. Very strange looking.
I don't think I even knew that that's how an acorn sprouted.
They're bizarre. And this is another seed I found.
Yeah.
That has started to sprout and turn into a tree. So here's its leaves.
Yeah, and there's root out the other end. I recognise that. I had no idea.
Very odd. They are strange. So I think this was a design. I've invented a design, and interested in the tree of life idea, which is something that recurs. Here's the sprouting acorn, and I thought this could be a hanging, but nothing. I've never developed anything further from that. Tree of lifey type thing appearing in this one again.
Let's just turn that.
Yeah, it's on the side again. So, and you can see the merging of some of my ideas. So there's that interest in the trees and the natural, and the ideas that the tree of life represents. And here's the strange beasties.
Yeah. And
this creature I did from a drawing in Salisbury Cathedral, and experimenting here with an idea for embroidery that this would be a panel. And so you have this Gothic window type of shape. I think that's just watercolour.
And all this red is watercolour.
Yep, yes. So I don't know whether that was a good choice or not. Now what's the media here? I like water-based medias a lot, and this could have been Neocolour.
It's very bright, isn't it?
It's
that tends
very
to do these beautiful.
Bright, yes, very intense colours. And I not particularly controlled, so quite dense, and the greens were a bit problematic. I think I was not really happy with the greens, and it's printed onto this pencil drawing here, which is my garden, one phase of the season.
Recognise that?
Yeah. There's the vegetable bit, there's the shape.
Wow.
Now for something totally different.
I love it.
And this, now I haven't made a note, so I don't remember where this was from, but it's me again experimenting with a new media. This is gouache, and it looks like a tapestry, a little bit of tapestry design.
Yeah. I love this colour combination.
It's probably not what the original was, in that things tend to go quite blue.
Yeah.
And the greens are often lost. But it's also interesting to draw something so fantastical. as that, and he had got the most wonderful tail, which I didn't complete, but that was done in one sitting, and then I left it.
Right.
I didn't return.
Okay. I love the scale of it. I mean, look at it to my hand. It's enormous.
Well, it's fun having a book this size and then overfilling it in a way so he doesn't even fit on the spread. Yeah. And this is more the kind of scale I tend to draw, and these again observational drawings of Indian textiles.
So this looks like a textile.
Yes, I think this was drawn from a photograph in a book. So this was a technique that I teach, timbre, and I was interested in the way the colours are combined for that.
They're
and these
really
birds.
hot colours, aren't they?
They're beautiful colours, yeah. Trying a white pencil on black paper and drawing a type of fabric, Varanasi brocade, to get a different way of looking at tone and getting the design shape. So I spent a long time drawing this motif, which is repeated in the fabric.
Right.
And a drawing from a book. They probably were from the same book. These was a picture of women carrying cloth on their heads.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I think she's also carrying a baby as well as a big bundle of cloth on their head.
There's a cloth, there's a baby.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful little sketch.
It was a wonderful photograph and very intriguing.
What's this up there?
So we have here a design. This was a bag, and again a drawing of how shisha mirrors have been used and what sort of embroidery was around and what design was around it. So interesting to me to see how they're placed and what the filling is around there.
Little study of it. It's almost deconstructing it in a way.
Yeah, this is me learning ways of using these things to develop my own technique. And there's a book reference here, so I can go back to that to find these. More study of other artwork. So these are from the Book of Hours, a medieval Book of Hours. This is tiny, this original image. I've probably drawn it much larger than it really is. All of this is gold leaf, I think, in the original. But just the time spent observing the pattern, the fascinating combination of this beautiful image of the castle and the landscape with a pattern behind it instead of a sky. And again, copied here. This was from an enamel plaque. This is medieval art. This decoration in a space between two angels. There's an angel's wing, another angel's wing. And what fascinated me was this infilled pattern. This thing is a water jug, I think, and it's a dragon made in bronze. But again, the idea of something so fantastical.
See a repeat.
Yes.
Some repeat ideas coming through.
Yes.
Really nice.
So I'm starting to see the themes of the things that I'm interested in as I look back through. Here's a colour study. I was trying out my pencils by the look of things. I do love my coloured pencils, and a study of the pomegranate and trying to shade, looking at what colours I'd used in there.
Not sure what's happening here.
That's another drawing. What does it say? I was looking at the horizontal bands of colour in these manuscripts. So there's strong bands of colour behind the images, behind the figures on there. Was interesting. Beginnings of a project to do with ice crystals. I photographed on the window of the car one winter. And then exploring, finding other things. So my own observations, that's couture, I forget the design and haven't written it down. These are proper photographs taken by scientists studying crystal formations.
Okay. You can see one here, plotted one out.
Yes, and some more photographs of what they actually look like and how they're joined together. Very strange. And then some experiments in technique, so trying to put silver leaf onto fabric and doing words in it. So that word is fragile, and some of the silver leaf didn't stick on.
Right.
Onto silk fabric.
When it says fragile.
Yeah, so it was an experiment in what might I do to interpret this project. And I made a few more stitching samples to do with this and coloured some silk. So that remains an idea that could be developed. More life drawings there. Very sketchy idea that didn't come to anything, working in coloured pencil. Bit more life drawing. that looks like oil pastel and pencil there, so I've used...
Started with a pencil, perhaps.
Yeah, started with a pencil and then gone in there with something else, yeah. Drawing some jewellery there on the left, I was thinking about a project to make some jewellery from tambouring and looking at some very elaborate jewellery that lended itself to that idea. And on the right we have the beginnings of workings for a project for a friend, and there were particular elements that the friend wanted to have in this design, so I've made some notes about different things and sketched an outline. And these are some preliminary drawings for background and for the subject matter. There's a whole stack of materials in there to do with that. And this is watercolour, so to form a backdrop to the main image. And that's there's a mixture there of watercolour and some ink tent sticks probably, which are a medium that I like. Put on, drawn dry, and then adding water. So it moves them around a bit, and then extra watercolour on top so you can see where that's been drawn out.
Love that.
Completely different project here, to decorate a clock with pyrography. So I did my research for cuckoo clocks. I thought, I'll decorate the clock with a jokey image that refers to cuckoo clocks, but obviously it's flat, it's a drawing. So lots of research into what they were, and then references to my own drawings of leaves, which I've done for years for other sorts of work of my own. And this was the design I came up with. So here's tracings that I was using to help me develop bits of the design, to place them. I had to draft a clock face, which actually has to be accurate, so that was a challenge. And you can see the drawing out there, and decisions I took about how to mark the minutes on. And then the design could be laid over the top. And I decided I would go for a mix of putting the design over or under the numbers. So over here, some of the leaves flow over the numbers and partially obscure them, and then around here, they're increasingly, the numbers are on top.
And you did some of this in gold as well, didn't you?
I gold leafed some of it. I gold leafed the eggs in the middle and the sun.
Right. I'll try and get an image of this and put it up. Yeah, if I can.
Yes. And that's as far as I got in this particular book. So having gone from using it for large drawings because I didn't want to sheaf off those, it's gone to being more of a design workbook because it's too big really to carry about.
Right.
But it's a good space for working stuff out in.
So you don't sort of, when you stop worrying about what to use it for in a way, then it just found a kind of purpose of its own.
Yes, and that's a really better approach. It's ridiculous for me to think I can actually separate the uses of my sketchbooks. Yes. They end up being whatever they are. If they're to hand at the moment, they get used for whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's lovely. Thank you very much for your tour of your beautiful sketchbook.
You're welcome.